The military tribunal chamber was steeped in a hush so dense it felt like tangible ash settling on the shoulders of everyone present. The American flag loomed behind the judge's bench, its folds unmoving as if frozen in mid-gesture, much like the faces of those who had come to witness Captain Evan Cole's fate. Under the harsh lights, Cole sat rigid, wrists bound by steel cuffs, his olive-drab uniform crisp yet heavy with the weight of looming judgment. His eyes were dark hollows, not with fear, but with a resignation that felt ancient, as though his spirit had long since carried more burdens than this single trial could ever explain. The tension was a living thing, humming in the air. What none would have guessed was how quietly the moment would shatter. When the prosecutor rose, his voice cut the chamber's stillness like a glinting blade. He recounted June 4th in clinical detail. Captain Cole's misentry of GPS coordinates for the Delta Sector airstrike, 4 unsuspecting American brothers, Sergeant Colohan, Private Mendez, Corporal Louis, Lieutenant Rivers, snuffed out by mistaken orders. No enemy in sight. The system logs bore Cole's identification. He had full clearance, and he had acted alone. A ripple of murmurs passed through the audience, but Cole's profile did not alter. He remained silent, as if the words had bounced harmlessly off him. The judge's voice was measured yet heavy with expectation. Captain Cole, you have offered no defense, declined counsel at every turn. The evidence is overwhelming. Do you wish to speak? For the first time, Evan lifted his bruised jaw, the faint scar on his temple catching a glint of light. His voice emerged steady, low, carrying a quiet thunder. I am not here to defend myself, he said. Not because I'm guilty, but because there are things that must stay buried so others can live. That confession, half threat, half gift, hung in the air long enough for every heart to quake. Without pause, the verdict was read. Execution by firing squad within 72 hours. A silence so profound followed that it ordered on reverence. Then the judge looked again at Evan Cole and offered, "Any final requests?" Evan's gaze drifted to the corner of the room, where a worn, black and white photograph peeked from his file. A German shepherd with bright, earnest eyes. "Kota," he whispered, then louder. "Let me see Kota, please." A tremor rippled through the tribunal. The canine had been decommissioned upon Cole's arrest, deemed unfit for service. But Evan's voice wavered only a fraction as he added, "If this is my last request, I want to see him once more." After what felt like an eternity, the judge nodded. "Granted, the dog will arrive tomorrow." As guards led Evan away, for the first time in days, a flicker crossed his face. Not hope, but something akin to life. 3 years before, in a dusty Kandahar training compound, Kota had been just another entry in a failure report. Shrapnel had ripped into his hip during a live fire drill, nerve damage freezing his back leg. Tagged unsuitable for service, he was slated for early retirement, an unworthy asset. But when Captain Evan Cole found him, Kota lay silent among barking, pacing counterparts. His ears twitched as Cole approached the cage, and though his body remained still, his eyes bore into Evan with a calm intensity that said, "Choose me." Dismissals from handlers fell on Cole's deaf ears. Kneeling before the dog, Evan offered no commands, only presence. Moments later, Kota pressed his muzzle against the bars, offering trust in exchange for compassion. Within days, Evan petitioned to lead Kota's rehabilitation. What others called hopeless, he called promise. At dawn and under moonlight, they relearned obedience, then advanced maneuvers, until Kota not only obeyed orders but tuned into Evan's very breath. Through drills, the dogs' trust blossomed. Their bond became a silent language. That bond was put to the test during a civilian evacuation in Coral Province. A haze of heat, sand, and crumbling fear. Sweeping the perimeter, Kota froze, ears pricked. A buried landmine lay inches from the path, waiting for a misstep. His sharp bark halted the team, soldiers who would have died moments later. Nearby, 3 children huddled among ruins. Kota approached them gently, and when one shy child whispered in Pashto, the interpreter translated, "He is an angel." That mission, one of many they survived together, etched their unity into life's ledger. A week later, in the Northern Hills routine reconnaissance, chaos erupted as enemy fighters ambushed from both flanks. Gunfire tore the silence, comms scrambled, and within minutes, only Evan and Kota remained. Kota shielded Evan's side, guiding him through the hail of bullets until help arrived. Yet instead of commendations, Evan was dragged away in shackles. Kota, confused and frantic, was hauled off in the opposite direction. Their separation felt like betrayal, an echoing rupture that left both man and dog hollow. That hollow was shattered next morning when the isolation chamber's iron door groaned open. A gust of cold desert air swept in, and there, in the threshold, stood Kota. His ears lifted, uncertainty melting into recognition. He padded forward, pressed his head to Evan's knees, and whimpered. Evan, eyes brimming, whispered, "Hey, buddy, remember?" No words bridged their silence, only breath and disbelief. When Major Drenner, the officer who'd once commanded them, strode in with 2 MPs, Kota stiffened, eyes fixed on Drenner, low growl rumbling. "Kota," Evan soothed. But the dog's gaze never wavered from the Major. In Drenner's nervous retreat, a small black USB stick fell from his pocket. Kota seized it in his jaws, dropped it before Evan, and retreated into a protective crouch. The chamber erupted in shouts. "Secure the animal! Hold fire!" Calmly, Evan retrieved the USB and met Colonel's eyes. "Run it," he said. Within 20 minutes, tech specialists decrypted the drive. Original coordinates, correct. Manual alterations bearing Drenner's login. Justice, hidden, emerged in binary clarity. The courtroom fell silent as the judge re-entered. "In light of new evidence," he proclaimed, "Captain Cole is exonerated of all charges." Relief rippled through the room like a breath released. Cuffs fell away and Evan rose, legs stiff. Kota beside him wagged a steady, triumphant tail. Drenner departed in stony defeat while Evan knelt to offer Kota a hand. "You knew," he whispered. Kota simply looked up, eyes bright, as if to say, "I never stopped watching." Though his name was cleared, Evan realized some wounds run deeper than injustice. He declined to return to duty. With Kota, he moved west, beyond military life, cameras, tribunals, to a secluded cabin beneath whispering pines in Colorado. He named the land Kota Haven. At first it was just the 2 of them. Then Travis appeared, a former Marine broken by loss. Travis sat sullen on the porch until Kota lay at his feet, head gentle against Travis's boot. Tears came. A soul cracked open. Word spread quietly. Veterans who felt irreparable found their way to Kota Haven. Abused or abandoned shelter dogs arrived, paired with those scarred by war. Kota, ambassador of silent grace, guided each pairing. Under Evan's watch, they rebuilt trust and hope. Evan began sharing their stories through a weekly podcast, The Quiet Ones, where each episode wove tales of veterans and dogs healing together. Downloads surged from all 50 states, then overseas. One letter from a 17-year-old in Cabo, cold of being pulled from ruins by a German shepherd with amber eyes. "I'm alive because of him," the boy wrote. Evan reread it, then wept, tears of gratitude. Kota nudged his shoulder, offering silent support. Years passed. Kota's muzzle silvered, his gait grew stiff. Yet each dawn he rose for Kota's round, walking the garden trail with veterans who followed reverently, sensing the trail's sanctity. One evening, beneath a fading sun, Evan and Kota sat side by side on the porch. Evan whispered, "You saved me more than once, even from myself." Kota leaned into him, eyes closed, breath soft. As night fell, Kota slipped away. No pain, no fanfare, only the stillness of a warrior finally at peace. At dawn, under Kota's favourite tree, veterans gathered. Evan placed a humble wooden marker. "Everything he gave me, he gave back my name when the world tried to take it." Dog tags, bandanas, folded notes lay at its base, tokens of thanks, not of grief. They stood in reverent silence, honoring a dog who proved that sometimes justice needs neither voice nor gavel, only steady eyes and unwavering loyalty. Kota's legacy became legend. That true heroes wield no rifles, need no medals, and speak no words. Yet their quiet courage can hold the world together, one faithful heart at a time.